Hello, little adventurers, and welcome back to our magical world of stories. Are you ready for a brand new tale with our favorite piggy, Peppa? Tonight, we're joining Peppa and George for a very special and very noisy nighttime adventure. So snuggle up, get cozy, and let's begin. The sun had set, painting the sky in beautiful colors of orange and purple. It was bedtime at Peppa's house. Good night, Peppa. Good night, George, said Mummy Pig, tucking them into their bunk beds. Good night, Mummy. Good night, Daddy, they replied sleepily. Daddy Pig turned off the light. Sleep well, my little piggies. But just as everything became quiet and still, Peppa's eyes popped open. George, she whispered, are you awake? A little snort from the bottom bunk told her that George was indeed awake. Suddenly, a strange sound echoed through the room. Squeak, squeak, it went. Peppa sat up. What was that noise, George? George wasn't sure. He just looked up at Peppa with wide eyes. The squeaking sound came again, a little louder this time. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Peppa, being a brave big sister, decided they needed to investigate. It's a mystery noise, George, she declared. We must find out what it is. She carefully climbed down from her top bunk. George wiggled out of his bed, clutching his beloved Mr. Dinosaur tightly. Together, they tiptoed out of their bedroom, ready to solve the mystery of the squeaky noise. The hallway was dark and a little spooky. The floorboards creaked under their little piggy feet. Creak went the floor. Oh, gasped Peppa. Another noise! George hid behind Peppa, peeking out. The squeaking sound happened again, seeming to come from downstairs. Squeak! Squeak! It was a persistent little noise. Come on, George, Peppa whispered bravely. Let's follow the sound. They crept down the stairs, one step at a time. The house seemed so different at night. The shadows of the furniture looked like big funny monsters. As they reached the bottom of the stairs, they heard a new sound. Tick-tock, tick-tock. It was the grandfather clock in the living room. Peppa giggled. That's just the clock, George. It's always telling us the time. But the squeaking was still there, somewhere in the darkness. Squeak, squeak. It sounded like it was coming from the kitchen. Peppa and George held hands and tiptoed towards the kitchen door. What could be making that noise? Was it a little mouse? Or maybe a creaky door hinge? Peppa pushed the kitchen door open very, very slowly. Inside the kitchen, moonlight streamed through the window, making everything glow. And there, on the kitchen table, they saw it. A little toy mouse that belonged to George. Peppa picked it up and squeezed it. Squeak, squeak. She made it say, George. She laughed. The mystery noise is your toy mouse. You must have dropped it on your way to bed. George oinked happily and hugged his toy. Mystery solved. But just as they were about to go back to bed, they heard another noise. A much, much bigger noise. Rumble. Snory. It was coming from Mummy and Daddy Pig's bedroom. Peppa and George looked at each other and giggled. They knew exactly what that sound was. They tiptoed to their parents' door and peeked inside. There was Daddy Pig, fast asleep, and snoring the biggest snore you've ever heard. Snorrzzzzzzzzz. His tummy went up and down with each snore. Peppa and George couldn't help but laugh. It was the loudest noise in the whole house. That's Daddy's noisy night sound, Peppa whispered to George. Suddenly, Mummy Pig stirred. Peppa? George? What are you two doing up? She asked sleepily. We were solving a mystery, explained Peppa. We heard a squeaky noise. She showed Mummy Pig the toy mouse. And then we heard a really loud rumbling noise, she added, pointing at Daddy Pig, who was still snoring away. Mummy Pig smiled. Oh, that's just Daddy Pig's famous snore, she chuckled. Come on, you two. Back to bed now. She led them back to their room. But as they got tucked in, they heard a new sound from outside. Hoot hoot! Went an owl in the garden. Wow, whispered Peppa. The night is full of noises. Then they heard the gentle pitter-patter of rain starting to fall on the window, and a distant vroom of a car driving down the road. So many sounds, George, Peppa said, feeling sleepy now. The world outside their window was busy, even while they were meant to be sleeping. It wasn't scary at all. It was actually quite interesting. George snuggled down with Mr. Dinosaur and his squeaky mouse, and soon, his little piggy snores joined the nighttime symphony. Snore ... double quotes. Peppa listened to the rain, the distant owl, and George's soft snores. The night wasn't just dark and quiet. It was full of life and sounds, a secret world that you only discover if you stay up a little bit late. Peppa yawned a big piggy yawn. Solving mysteries was tiring work. She closed her eyes, feeling safe and sound in her cozy bed. The noisy night had turned into a lullaby, and soon Peppa Pig was fast asleep, dreaming of all the wonderful, mysterious sounds she had heard. And they all slept soundly until the morning sun peeked through their window. What a fun nighttime adventure! It turns out the night isn't so quiet after all. It has its own special music. Thank you so much for joining Peppa and George on their noisy night mystery. I hope you had as much fun as we did. Remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed our story, and don't forget to subscribe for more wonderful tales. Sweet dreams, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.